One of these already lives inside you. We're starting with the obvious ones, the ones that just eat you. Then we're going to the ones that think, or something close enough to thinking that the difference stops mattering. 7 parasites, counted down to the one that may be reshaping your personality right now. Let's begin. Number 7, the green-banded broodsac, Leucochloridium paradoxum. It begins as an egg and bird droppings on a leaf. A snail eats the leaf. That is where the parasite's patience ends. The worm migrates to the snail's eye stalks. It inflates them. It pulses inside them, green, striped, rhythmic. The eye stalks begin to look exactly like caterpillars. Not approximately, exactly. The snail, which normally avoids open light, now crawls toward it. It climbs to exposed surfaces in full daylight. A bird sees what appears to be a caterpillar and eats the eye stalk. The worm is now inside the bird. It lays eggs. The eggs fall in droppings. A snail eats a leaf. The snail's eyes begin to move. The cycle is older than recorded history. It has been running longer than our species has existed, and the snail never knows. Number 6, Ophiocordyceps fungi, the zombie ant parasite. A spore lands on an ant. It does not kill the ant. It infiltrates the ant's muscle fibers. When researchers sectioned infected ants, they found fungal cells packed through the muscle fibers and almost none in the brain. That is the disturbing part. The working explanation is that it drives the muscles directly without going through the mind at all. How it does that is still being worked out. The ant walks, but is not walking. Something else is walking. It forces the ant to climb a specific plant, to a specific height above the forest floor, to a specific side, north-facing, with specific humidity. Then it clamps the ant's jaw onto a leaf vein. The jaw locks. The ant cannot release it. It dies there, clamped in place. The fungus fruits through the ant's head, releasing spores downward, onto the ants below. Researchers have found ant graveyards around these plants. Hundreds of ant bodies, all clamped, all dead, all in the same position. The forest floor beneath them has been doing this for 47 million years. Fossil ants show the same bite marks, the same height, the same position, 47 million years of the same controlled death. Number 5, Sacculina carcini, a barnacle that does not look like a barnacle. It finds a crab. It injects a single cell into the crab's body. That cell spreads. It grows roots through the crab's entire interior, through muscle, organ, and nervous tissue. The crab does not die. The crab continues to eat, to move, to behave, mostly. But the crab no longer grows, it no longer molts, it no longer reproduces. All the energy the crab would have spent on itself now flows to Sacculina. If the crab is male, the parasite chemically feminizes it. It restructures the crab's abdomen to the shape of a female's. Then it causes the crab to care for Sacculina's eggs as if they were its own. The crab fans them, tends them, protects them. The crab has no offspring. It is tending something that replaced the possibility of offspring. And the behavior, the tenderness, is indistinguishable from real parenting, because to the crab, it is. Number 4, Gordian worms, hairworms. They grow inside crickets and grasshoppers. They can grow longer than the host is wide, coiled inside the body cavity. When the worm is ready to reproduce, it needs water. The cricket is not near water. The worm releases compounds that alter the cricket's brain chemistry. The cricket seeks water, finds it, jumps in. Crickets cannot swim. As the cricket drowns, the worm exits through any available opening. It swims away. The cricket sometimes survives. Researchers have pulled drowning crickets from water and watched the worm leave, then watched the cricket recover and walk away. The cricket walked away from its own drowning. It had been borrowed, used, returned, and it had no awareness that any of this occurred. This is real. These animals are moving right now, somewhere, under this same sky. Number 3, Toxoplasma gondii. We have arrived. It is a single-celled parasite. Its primary host is the domestic cat, but it infects warm-blooded animals broadly, including rodents. When it infects a rat, it alters the rat's fear response. Rats are hardwired to avoid the smell of cat urine. Infected rats lose this aversion. Some studies suggest they become mildly attracted to it. They approach areas where cats have been. The cat catches the rat. Toxoplasma reaches its primary host. The cycle closes. This is a parasite that has, over millions of years, learned to edit a specific fear out of a specific animal's brain. Not all fears. The one fear that most threatens the parasite's survival. That is not random mutation. That is something that looks, from the outside, like strategy. Now, Toxoplasma also infects humans. Roughly 1/3 of all people alive right now carry it. Most show no acute symptoms. But the research does not stop there. Multiple studies have found correlations between Toxoplasma infection and subtle personality shifts. Infected men tend to score differently on measures of suspicion and rule following. Infected women show different patterns in sociability. Some studies link chronic infection to marginally elevated risk of certain psychiatric conditions. The effect sizes are debated, the causality is not proven, but the pattern keeps appearing in study after study across different populations. A parasite that edits fear in rats may be doing something quieter and slower in you. You will never feel it. You will not remember a moment of change. You will simply be who you are. And some portion of who you are may have been adjusted by something that needed you to behave slightly differently to survive. Number 2. We are going deeper. Not into a single organism, into a category, endosymbiotic bacteria, Wolbachia. It lives inside the cells of roughly half of all insect species on Earth. Half. It cannot survive outside a host cell, so it does what it must. It spreads through eggs, not sperm. Males are useless to it, so in some species, it kills male embryos outright. In others, it converts developing males into functional females. In others, it causes females to reproduce without males at all. Parthenogenesis. It has, in some documented species, driven the male of the species to functional extinction. The species continues, all female, all carrying Wolbachia, all reproducing for it. There are species alive today where the male has not existed for thousands of generations. The parasite did not destroy the species, it simply rewrote what the species was. And the remaining organisms have no knowledge that anything was lost. They are complete, they are normal, they are entirely the product of a parasite's reproductive preferences. Number 1. We have been talking about organisms that hijack behavior, that edit fear, that rewrite reproduction. But there is a category of parasite that does something quieter and more total. Mitochondria. 2 billion years ago, a bacterium was absorbed by a larger cell. It was not digested. It stayed. It began to provide energy. The host cell began to depend on it. Over generations, billions of generations, the bacterium lost its independence. It transferred most of its genes into the host's nucleus. It can no longer survive outside the cell. It can no longer reproduce independently. It is no longer, by any reasonable definition, a separate organism. It is now part of you. It is in every cell of your body. It is what allows you to think, to move, to exist. Without it, you die within seconds. It does not feel like a parasite because it has been inside us so long we built our biology around it. But trace the line back far enough. Something entered a cell it was not supposed to enter, and that cell's descendants became every complex living thing on Earth. Every animal, every plant, every thinking being. We are not individuals who carry parasites. We are the result of a parasitic merger so ancient and so total that we experience it as ourselves. The boundary between you and what colonized you dissolved long before your species had a name. The mitochondria story feels like the end, but it is not the end. It is just the deepest layer we have found so far. Consider what else may be waiting in the layers we have not looked closely enough at yet. Your gut contains roughly as many microbial cells as there are human cells in your entire body. Many of these produce neurotransmitters, dopamine precursors, serotonin, GABA. They do not produce these for you. They produce them for themselves. You absorb the overflow. Your mood, in part, is a byproduct of their chemistry. Researchers have transferred gut microbiomes between anxious and calm mice and watched the behavior transfer with it. The calm mouse became anxious. The anxious mouse became calm. The mice did not change. What lived inside them changed, and the mice had no idea they were different. You have a second nervous system wrapped around your digestive tract, 500 million neurons, roughly the complexity of a cat's brain. It operates largely without consulting the brain above your shoulders. It does not ask permission. You call the feeling it produces a hunch, or instinct, or dread. You do not call it something else making a decision inside you. But the distinction may be smaller than you think. There is a virus called HERV-K that does not infect you. It is already in your genome. It arrived millions of years ago and never left. 8% of your DNA is ancient viral material that integrated so completely it is now inherited like any other trait. Some of it is no longer functional. Some of it is. Certain HERV sequences are active during brain development. We do not fully know what they are doing there. We know they are doing something. You built your brain partly using instructions left behind by a virus that infected your ancestor before your species had its current name. And because it happened before memory, before language, before anything you could call a self, you inherited the result and called it nature, called it you. You were never entirely your own.